Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रये भीष्टसिद्धये अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दान् अतीतद्वैतभानतः गुरुनाराध्य वेदान्तसारं वक्ष्ये यथामति. Hari Om. In Vedanta Saar, we had done some broad strokes. Sara means essence, right? So it is giving us a very brief picture of the main important topics in Vedanta. Although it doesn't seem like it, we are in 200 verses almost. But there can be so many things to be elaborated. But Vedanta Sara is making sure that we emphasize on the main points. The first thing was Adhikari, Anubandha Chatushtaya. Then came Adhyaropa. Then came Apavada. Then Mahavakya Vichara. These are the 5 topics which have been elaborated so far. Having understood these to be the main topics, how do we start our journey? How do we keep going towards that Ananda Swarupa Brahma, which is what we are seeking at the end of the day? We are actually seeking Ananda. We are not even seeking Ananda Swarupa Brahma. Brahma is of the nature of Ananda. Anandam Brahma iti Vyajanat. That Ananda I am. In this way, knowledge will be given. So what are the steps for this? Swamiji said, Shravanam, Mananam, and Nidhidhyasanam. The interesting thing is, because this Brahman is already attained, it is already my Swarupa, there is nothing outside that has to be done. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Only know that thing clearly. And knowing part will come only through Shravanam. And we saw what is the precise definition of Shravanam. We might have done several years of Shravanam, several texts, several Upanishads with Bhashya. The main essence is the Tatparya of entire Vedanta is an Advitiya Vastu. Advitiya Vastu means that non-dual truth alone is absolute reality. And Bhagavan said, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Bhagavan Shankaracharya said this. Whatever is said in several Shastra, I can say only in half a line of a shloka. Shlokardhena pravakshami. Yat kinchit grantha kotibihi. Several granthas of Vedanta, whatever they are saying, I can say in half a line. Brahma Satyam, that non-dual truth alone is the absolute reality. Jagat Mithya, entire world which is known as this, whatever is known as Idam, is called as Jagat, starting from this thought, starting from mind, and everything outside. All of that is Mithya, it is just an appearance in this consciousness. Now Brahma Satyam is very good. Jagat Mithya is also, it is okay. But at least we can intellectually appreciate. But third one is says, I am that Brahman. This will make the knowledge complete. Not only Brahma Satyam, not only Jagat Mithya, but I am that non-dual truth which is appearing as this Jagat. One part of our Vedantic sadhana is to separate Drushya from Drashta. Drushya means whatever is seen, separating that from the seer. I am not the thoughts, I am the witness of thought. I am not the body, I am the enlivener of the body. I am the witness of body. In that way, first we are separating Drashta from Drushya. But that is not end of Vedanta. Because Vedanta means there has to be non-duality at the end. So if we have separated Drashta and Drishya and leave it at that, that will actually become Sankhya Darshana or Yoga Darshana. Why is that? Because Drashta is also real, seer is also real, and seen is also equally real in their Darshana. Or they will use the word Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha identifying with Prakriti is bondage. What is liberation? Separating Prakriti from Purusha. There is a text called as Aparoksha Anubhuti, where the Purva Paksha, the opponent, asks Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, after he gives this technique of doing Drik Drishya Viveka. He says even other darshanas have done this. They have also come to this point that Prakriti is different from Purusha, or the witness consciousness is different from the seen. Whatever is seen is different. The seer is different from the seen. What has Vedanta actually added to us? What has Vedanta really contributed, which other darshanas have not contributed yet? This is the seen, whatever is there, is really speaking not different from the seer. What was the first step? To separate out seen from the seer. Second step is to dissolve the seen into the seer. Then only Vedanta knowledge is complete. Then only Advaitam will become Siddha for us. Siddha means it will become a reality for us. The technical word for this is Vivechanam and Pravilapanam. Vivechanam means to separate. How the seer is different from the seen. In this only lot of janmas will go, if we are not alert. Meaning, in spite of knowing several things about Vedanta, still we identify with mind. Still we identify with body. In the BMI chart, when you see BMI, PFT, OET, and then you ask, what all things fall under this seen? In the BMI chart, it is so easy to point out. Objects are the seen. Body is the seen. How about mind and intellect? Oh, they are definitely the seen. Right there, we should sign an affidavit. I hereby declare body and mind is seen. I will not identify with body and mind no matter what happens. And any identification is not the truth. It's only coincidental. Means Viparita Bhavana will be there, might be there, but at least in our understanding, this is firm that I am not the body, I am not the mind. Now, after having done this, the next step is not to remain at two. Next step is to understand that the illusory snake which is appearing is really speaking the rope only. First we said, separate the snake from the rope. Now we are saying, dissolve that snake into the rope. Meaning dissolve this prapancha, dissolve this mind into consciousness. So wherever this sadhaka sees product of Maya, he is really paying attention to consciousness only. Wherever wood is being perceived, or wherever harmonium is being perceived, there only the wood is there. So even if he pays attention to harmonium, in his understanding, he is appreciating wood. In that way, this journey of Advaita Vedanta will unfold to us. So we had seen three types of asambhavana, or three types of challenges which are addressed by Shravanam, Mananam, and Nidhidhyasanam respectively. The first one was having this doubt that if I am seeking happiness, why am I studying Upanishads? If I am seeking liberation, why am I studying Upanishad? What is Upanishad going to do in my quest for Ananda? This doubt itself is called as Pramana Asambhavana. I want a particular result. This is why we said, who is the person who is seeking for Vedantic knowledge? He says he's a mumukshu who wants something higher. All of that is good. But the means by which he is going to attain it, he still hasn't gained clarity. Now and then he starts feeling, oh, why am I spending so much time here? There are so many other things that can be done, which can give me Ananda. Or it can be some kind of greater solutions, going to a different loka, going to some other place. Those are different types of mokshas, by the way. Salokya moksha, Sarupya moksha, Sayujya moksha. Going to a different loka, attaining that loka is moksha. And there are different types of rituals, different types of efforts which are to be done for that. Now, this person is somebody who is not having any of that as the main solution. How did he come to this point? Shravanam only brought him to this point of not seeking any other solution for moksha. They say catch 22. That is the situation. The very fact that I should do Shravanam will be told to me in Shravanam. For moksha, we need Shravanam. For Ananda, we need Shravanam. This will get clear only in Shravanam. That is why it is said, if somebody can come to satsang and survive there for some time sincerely, that is Bhagwan's grace. That is Bhagwan's grace. How satsang comes in our life and how we don't drop off very quickly. That part is something divine. So this doubt that why am I studying Upanishad, or what is Upanishad going to give me, that is called as Pramana Asambhavana. One more facet of this doubt is confusion about the main topic. There are so many things said in Upanishads, but if he has a prejudiced mind or is looking at scriptures with some worldly goal, then he will see only that goal as the essence of scriptures. So Bhagavad Gita, if 10 people read and you ask them what is the main essence of Bhagavad Gita, you'll find 10 different answers. So that clarity is also part of Shravanam. that the main essence of Upanishad is in Advitiya Vastu. That is what Swamiji said, right? Using 6 limbs, come to this point that Advitiya Vastu alone is the Tatparya of entire Vedanta. If you ask between Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhidhyasanam, which is the most important part? The building block for Mananam and Nidhidhyasanam is Shravanam. The data that we gather, that has to be free from error. What do they call it? No noise. When they gather data for experiments, they say the noise which is there means deviation from the main theme. That should be minimal as much as possible. Like that, in Shravanam, one should be able to gather the message in true essence. Having done that, comes the phase of Mananam, where in spite of hearing Jagat is Mithya, in spite of listening to this fact, mind is Mithya, it doesn't become our conviction. Even this fact that I am not the mind, I am not the body, we might have heard in Shravanam, but we don't still have conviction that how this is true for me. This translation of what I've heard into what my conviction is, that will come through Mananam. In our camp, we were seeing one part when Swamiji said, what is sadhana? He said, Nazar Milana sadhana hai. Nazar Milana means whatever is said in scriptures, that is one perspective, one way of looking at things. Whatever I am thinking right now, that is my way of looking at things. If I can align my way with scriptural way, if I can align my thoughts with Bhagwan Krishna's thoughts, my convictions with Bhagwan Krishna's conviction, that is true sadhana. If Bhagwan has told through Upanishads that Jagat is not absolutely real, I am not this body, I am not this mind, putting forth effort to make that as our own conviction. This is called as Mananam. And this is where we had seen the 3 types of, or 5 Bhedas between 3 entities. Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. Kenopanishad also, we elaborately went through it. Meaning once we go through it, we don't have to repeat it in every session, but more we reflect upon those points, it's helpful for our Mananam. Now in Mananam, we can take support from Nyaya Darshana. Shravanam is Mimamsa Pradhana. Purva Mimamsa Darshana which is there. Their conviction in Upanishad, their conviction in Vedas, with that reverence, it is said we should study Upanishads. So when we do Shravanam, it is Purva Mimamsa Pradhan. Mananam becomes more Nyaya Pradhan, to our best ability. There also there is a spectrum. But whatever different hetus we are reflecting upon, Jadatva, Drishyatva, how I am not this body, holding on to them and reflecting upon it more and more. Nidhidhyasanam is Yoga Pradhana. In Yoga Darshana, their main path towards liberation is through meditation. Vedanta takes the best of all. When it comes to Shravanam, it is taking from Purva Mimamsa. When it comes to Mananam, it is taking from Nyaya. When it comes to Nidhidhyasanam, lot of emphasis is taken from, or lot of sadhana perspectives are taken from Yoga Darshana. But remember, Yoga Darshana does not say Jagat is Mithya. There are differences between Yoga Darshana and Vedanta. Yoga Darshana also doesn't say Atma is one and infinite. It says in every individual there is different Atma. We don't need to go into the nuances of yoga and Vedanta, but the main point is only the sadhana part is taken over here. So what Mananam will do is it will remove Prameya Asambhavana. Prameya Asambhavana means having heard something, still I have doubt how this thing can be true for me. How can Jagat be Mithya? How can I be one with God? That part, when it becomes clear, that will be our Mananam. In Kenopanishad Bhashya, if you pay attention, the words Ishvara and consciousness are switched. That is to push us into more Mananam. If it unsettles us, it is a very good thing. It will push us into more Mananam, into inquiring what is the difficulty in oneness between Jiva and Ishvara. The only difficulty will be mixing up some conditioning into Tvapada. The moment mind comes, the moment body comes, then that aikyam will become a challenge. So that part is emphasizing more of Mananam. Third one is Nidhidhyasanam, which is to remove Viparita Bhavanas. Now this is a very unique phase in a sadhaka's journey. You ask that sadhaka, if you need moksha, what should you do? He says we should study Upanishads. What are Upanishads telling? What is the main essence of Upanishads? He says the same thing. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, and I am that Brahman. If you ask him, how come you are Brahman? You are born, you are going through these modifications. If you have pain in the body, don't you feel pain? Then he can explain also that pain belongs to Ahankara. Pain doesn't belong to Atma. Atma is Nirvikara. It is without any kind of experience. So all experiences belong to body, they belong to mind, they belong to Ahankara, this individual. Mistaken identity. All this he does. But the moment that person goes away and he is on his own, and if some dukkham comes, the first thing he starts feeling is, I am dukhi. Other thing is also true. If sukham comes, he also starts feeling, I am sukhi. Both are erroneous notions. Both are erroneous notions. To remove this erroneous notion is the point or the main purpose of Nidhidhyasanam. Nidhidhyasanam, the root word is dhyay. Nitaram dhyatum ichcha, nididhyasa. The desire to be in a contemplative state all the time, that is called as Nidhidhyasanam. So Nidhidhyasanam doesn't mean mind without thoughts. Nidhidhyasanam means mind with Vedantic thoughts, not worldly thoughts. That we don't have to do sadhana to bring. Having done Shravanam, having done Mananam, keeping this mind in Vedantic thoughts, which indicate to that absolute truth, that process is called as Nidhidhyasanam. So dhyay word means chintayam, to reflect. Again, chinta is not that worldly chinta. Chint dhatu means to reflect, to systematically think about Vedantic ideas. In worldly sense, or sometimes in the secular knowledge, we say meditation is to get better knowledge. Right? You study something and you say, what is the scientist doing right now? He's meditating upon it or is contemplating upon it so he can get some new insights. In Vedanta, that is not true. Whatever knowledge has to come will come through Shravanam. Whatever clarity has to come will come through Mananam. In Nidhidhyasanam, we should not strive to inquire into too many things. By that time, we should have gained sufficient clarity about how I am Brahma, how Jagat is Mithya, Nidhidhyasanam is only replaying that whole conviction in our mind. Sometimes sadhakas might have that question. I attended a class and I heard something. In meditation, we repeated the same thing what we heard in class. Why is that? You see, that is what you have to do in meditation. Meditation is whatever we have heard and gotten conviction, same thing you have to repeat as first person. And whatever is our weak points, whatever is bothering us in our personality, that will become the point of focus Nidhidhyasanam. They have some tablets, right, which are very specific. Means they will know exactly where to work in the body. Like that, this Nidhidhyasanam will first have to identify. If my shortcoming is strong doership, anybody challenges my work, I feel I am getting challenged. Or if, let us say, my shortcoming is strong enjoyership, means always seeking some approval from the world. These are the applied sides of enjoyership. Seeking recognition, seeking some kind of approval. Then the Nidhidhyasanam should be, I am akarta, I am abhokta. I am not doer, I am not enjoyer, I am that Shuddha Chaitanya, which is devoid of these two things. Now, if I just sit down in one place, focus on my breath, then do some chanting, do something, that is good. It will quieten the mind. But it will not remove this erroneous notion of kartrutva and bhoktrutva. So in Vedantic Nidhidhyasanam, bringing Vedantic thoughts becomes very, very critical. Now, if let us say my anxiety is related to physical body, something is bothering me. So my Nidhidhyasanam should be, I am ajanma. I don't have birth. I will not perish because I am that Shuddha Chaitanya. So many bodies we have had, this is one of it. It is not my true identity. Now, in that way, we should make a list. Not list of Brahma Pratyas, list of Viparit Bhavanas. And see what is the corresponding perspective we have gotten through Vedanta. If it is related to body, the corresponding perspective would be, I am unborn. Related to mind, perspective will be, I am Nirvikalpa. Vikalpas are thoughts. Those indicators are what we have to repeat in meditation. See, the good news is, our vasanas which are there, anatma vasanas which are there, they get strengthened through repetition. True or not? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. The good news is, same thing applies for Brahma vasana also. I am Brahman. Really speaking, it is not vasana. Means we don't have to repeat and strengthen it. But if that is our problem, means our anatma vasanas are very strong, then this Brahma vasana can counter that anatma vasana. But we should remember, Vedanta knowledge is pramana-janya, not vasana-janya. Unless I have had clarity in Shravanam and Mananam, repeating in Nidhidhyasanam will not do me much good. Okay, so these are different facets. That is what we had seen in 192. If you see that verse now, you can repeat. Vijatiya dehadi pratyaya rahita advitiya vastu sajatiya pratyaya pravaha Nidhidhyasanam. Sajatiya pratyaya pravaha nididhyasanam. Sajatiya means of the same kind. Of what kind? What is that subject about which thoughts are same kind? That subject is I am Brahma. Brahma Lakshana, there can be different facets to it. I am Akarta is one facet. I am Asanga is another facet. I am infinite. I am Ananda Swarupa. All these indicators are different Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. I hope the difference is becoming clear between what meditation is not. It is not only quietening the mind and leaving there. It is not only scanning through the body and quietening the mind. Those are the preparatory steps. Even observing the breath is a preparation for meditation. It is not Vedantic meditation. Vedantic meditation is to bring these thoughts about Brahma, understand it in first person, and burn all those erroneous notions which have been bothering us. So Shravanam and Mananam gives Jnanam. Nidhidhyasanam gives Jnana Nishtha. Nishtha means abidance in this knowledge. Whenever this mind is quiet, mind is calm, this knowledge should come and fill our mind. When mind is restless, mind is agitated, same knowledge should come and save us. The moment we are able to use Vedanta to bring ourselves back into that state of consciousness, bring our attention back to consciousness, don't call it a state, bring attention back to consciousness, we should appreciate the role done by Nidhidhyasanam. Meaning without Nidhidhyasanam, Jnana Nishtha is very difficult. Jnana Nishtha is very difficult. Vijatiya Dehadi Pratyaya Rahita. How is he creating this Sajatiya Pratyaya? Means he is keeping all other Pratyayas aside. Not by force, but through understanding. Vijatiya Dehadi Pratyaya. So Dehadi means that, the list that we created. I am getting affected by world outside, or I am stressed about something in the world outside. Now you should remember, there will always be two levels of solving our problems. One will be Vyavaharik level, another will be Paramarthik level. And both are important. Texts like this will not discuss about Vyavaharik level. Doesn't mean it's unimportant. If you read something like Vibhishan Gita, there the main emphasis is how to face life through Dharmaratha. How to build our personality in such a way that no problem seems too big to solve. Bhagavan says, put the wheels of Sauraja and Dhiraja. Means there are phases when you just have to bear things. And there are phases when you can creatively build your life. So Sauraja means that, creatively building life. Dhiraja means having patience for few things to pass by. And no situation remains the same forever. Right? It's only the wait period which makes us very anxious. Now that is Vyavaharik, transactional way of looking at things. But over here, he's striving to look at his own life through Paramarthik standpoint. So Vijatiya Dehadi Pratyaya will include everything. I am a good person is also Vijatiya Pratyaya. The first struggle was to go from ordinary person to being a good person. From being tamasic to rajasic to sattvic. But now even to say that I am a sattvic person is a Vijatiya Pratyaya. It says I am the substratum of these three gunas, which is Nirguna. This point is clear, right? No elaboration needed. Dehadi pratyaya rahita. Advitiya vastu sajatiya pratyaya pravaha. About that Advitiya vastu, there is sajatiya pratyaya pravaha, continuous reflection upon indicators of Brahma. This is called as Nidhidhyasanam. Now, the preparation for Nidhidhyasanam is not given here. Bhagavan says, let us find some time first to sit down wherever we can, at whatever time we can. Then all the other preparations will be meaningful. Otherwise, what happens is, lot of effort goes in preparation. Meditation we don't end up doing. Right? The type of cushion, the type of lighting, the type of fragrance, everything is good. What is missing? Meditation. But Bhagavan says little bit of moderation is helpful. Moderation in sleep, moderation in eating. That is going to be the main part, in Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter. Means we ourselves will start realizing certain things have to change in life. If we are a meditator, we cannot afford to get involved in any kind of extreme opinions. Then the meditation is on that opinion. It is not on Brahma. Opinion about anything. It could be a political opinion. It could be social. It could be about a person. That is where Bhagwan Shankaracharya writes, Kah kim karma iti avyaprata chetaha. Who is doing what? If it is not our duty, not our dharma, this person is least concerned. 6th chapter, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, this is how a meditator should be. Then only the mind is available to do everything. And then Bhagwan says, moderation in exercise. Some kind of activity should be there in the day by which body doesn't demand attention. And we'll realize sometimes it's very easy to take it out of our to-do list, priority list. Yukta ahara viharasya. Yukta means one who is very moderate in ahara and vihara, in eating and in activities outside. In sleep, he is moderate. All these are external preparations. That is not elaborated too much over here. Now comes a very beautiful portion about details of this Samadhi Abhyasa. What is Vedantic meditation? The essence of Vedantic meditation is given in next few verses. Vedanta Saar, right? So everything is Sara only here. You see how nicely Swamiji is elaborating now, 93 and 94. Samadhihi dvividaha savikalpakaha nirvikalpakaha cha iti tatra savikalpakaha nama nyatru jnanadi vikalpalaya anapekshaya advitiya vastuni tadakara karitayaha chittavrittehe avasthanam. Samadhihi dvividaha. There are two types of samadhi. One which we should practice, another which will naturally happen. The first one that we should strive to practice is called as Savikalpaka Samadhi. Or you can call it as Savikalpa Samadhi also. Second one, which is the result of mature Savikalpa Samadhi, is called as Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Simple meaning of Vikalpa is duality. There where there is perception of duality, but attention is on non-duality. Perception is of duality, but attention is on non-duality. That is called as Savikalpa Samadhi. Where there is no not even perception of duality, only non-duality is present. That is called as Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Savikalpa Samadhi, perception is there of duality. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, no perception of duality also. So if one can practice Savikalpa Samadhi regularly for a long time with lot of reverence, the culmination of that Savikalpa will be in Nirvikalpa. But all three things are important. Regularly, for an extended period of time, and with lot of reverence. Now elaboration of Savikalpa 194. Tatra Savikalpakaha nama Nyatru Jnanadi Vikalpalaya Anapekshaya. What is Savikalpa? Where there is perception of duality. And duality is present in the form of triad. What is a triad? The meditator, Nyatru, meditation, or over here it will be Brahmakara Vritti. Means I am perceiving this thought, I am Brahman. And I am also there. Means meditator is striving to turn attention towards Brahman. And Nye is also there. Advitiya Vastu is also there. But he is not trying to see Brahman as another object. He says the one who is witnessing this thought is Brahman. The one who is witnessing this mind is Sakshi. This question came up in our retreat also, that if I am paying attention to thought, how can I pay attention to Sakshi at the same time? It's a very valid question, something that sadhaka should go through if we are really trying to abide in that Sakshi. I can either pay attention to thought or I can pay attention to Sakshi. How can I do both at the same time? So there we are not paying attention to Sakshi as another object. The whole purpose of Nidhidhyasanam is to say, the one who is paying attention to thought is Sakshi. Just like saying, if I am able to see this camera, I don't need to again search for my eyes. The very fact I am able to see this object means eyes are already there. I just have to become aware of it. Now, if my attention was only on object, how many times do we notice that sense organs are seeing that object? Very few times. Very few times. So through that object, we are shifting attention to the seer. You know, when you go to eye examination also, they make you read letters. The purpose is not actually to read the letters. Purpose is to see how the eyesight is. Right? So here also, through thoughts, attention is shifted back to Sakshi. This process, if we are not clear, then when we sit down for meditation, there will be a lot of confusion about what I should meditate upon. If you just directly bring some Vedantic thought, the sadhaka might still feel Brahman is something different from me. He might still keep saying, I am Asanga, I am Advitiya, I am Ananda Swarupa. But that I is not landing in the right place. So Vidyananda Swamiji's grace is in plenty with that text, Dribdrishya Viveka. He says, whenever you sit down, first step that you do is let go of the world, let go of even thoughts, bring attention to witness of thought. And this is a relatively easy step. It doesn't involve a lot of technicalities of Vedanta. In many places, this will be the only meditation which is done. In fact, this is the final meditation. In Vedantic meditation, this is only step one. Shifting attention from thoughts to consciousness, from thoughts to Sakshi, is only step one. Step two is to meditate upon the nature of Sakshi, or you call as Mahima of Sakshi. That is the second step. This is where all words will be helpful. Later on, there will be one shloka also to elaborate that part. So the words like Advitiya, Asanga, it is not only shifting attention. It is knowing that this Sakshi is Asanga. This Sakshi is Advitiya in that way. But at the same time, this perception of triad is still there. I am the meditator, consciousness is the meditated, and this thought, Brahmakara Vritti, is also present. This becomes practice of Savikalpa Samadhi. Jnatru Jnanadi Vikalpalaya Anapekshaya. Anapeksha means the triad is not dissolved. Triad is very well perceived, but no reality is given to that triad. He doesn't take himself to be Ahankara. He is not trying to search for Sakshi. He says, I am this meditator to begin with. But meditation is to say, I am the witness looking at this meditator. We don't start the journey with I am meditator and end with I am meditator. Starting is I am meditator. Culmination is I am Brahma. So that practice is called as Savikalpa Samadhi. Advitiya Vastuni Tadakara Karitayaha Chitta Vruttehe Avasthanam. The Chitta Vritti, mind has taken the form of Vedantic thoughts about that Advitiya Vastu. Whatever Chitta Vrittis we have gathered through Shravanam, mind is able to stay in that. You know, sometimes if a thing is little challenging, it is okay to keep falling down in that practice, but at least making sure that we hold on to the right thing. Meditation in particular, this will be the main turning point. If you just do the practice of observing the breath, or if you just do the practice of witnessing your thought, it is not very difficult. The meditation practice, if we do for sufficiently long time, we'll realize that part is not too difficult. The challenging part will be when we have to bring Vedantic thoughts. If our conviction in Upanishad is not very strong, or clarity has not come in Upanishads, then to bring Vedantic thoughts will become very difficult. Mind, first of all, will not appreciate what are we doing. Why are we repeating things that we hear in Shravanam? Now, a very beautiful example is given in the next verse to show what is Savikalpa Samadhi. How perception is there of the triad, at the same time attention is there on Advitiya Vastu. You see 195. Tada mrunmaya gajadibhane api mrudbhanavate dvaitabhane api advaitam vastu bhasate. Tada, in Savikalpa Samadhi, what is the state of this sadhaka? So it's just like when you see a clay elephant. You see a clay elephant and you see the nuances in which the sculptor has carved out that elephant and everything. You appreciate everything. But because we know that the essence of that clay elephant is clay, we don't lose sight of that clay. At the same time, we are perceiving the elephant. We are perceiving the name and form of that elephant. but attention is on clay. Tada mrunmaya gajadi bhane api. The clay elephant is very well perceived. Mrud bhanavat. But attention can be just on the clay. This person is called as Tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi means one who sees variety, but his attention goes only on the substratum. No non-perception. There is still perception of duality, perception of name and form, but because of his Shravanam strength and Mananam strength, he can pay attention to the substratum, which is consciousness. This is why that whole Srishti Prakriya was elaborated, to show how this creation has really come or emerged from that consciousness. Once that is clear, we don't have to repeat Srishti Prakriya every time. Once you see an object, then you boil down to 5 elements, then you say space, earth element merging into water, water merging into fire. We don't have to do that every time. Whenever we see the world, knowing that this is an appearance in consciousness. This part he is able to do. Mahatma has also given an example of Ram Parivar. Yes, somebody had a golden Ram Parivar and he wanted to make another one, so he had to melt it, give it to the goldsmith and build another one. He goes to the goldsmith and says, how much will you give me for Ram Parivar? Then he puts the price, goldsmith. Bhagwan Rama, $1,000. Lakshman ji, 800. Sita ji, 500. Hanuman ji, 2,000. $2,000. He says, how can you have Hanumanji priced more than Bhagwan Rama? He says, you are seeing Ram Parivar there. The goldsmith is Tattvadarshi. He is only seeing gold. Who is heavier? Hanumanji has Gada and he is having that good built. Meaning, whenever he sees creation, he never loses sight of consciousness. Through whichever way we can accomplish it. Either take Srishti Prakriya or you take Drik Drishya Viveka. See, where is world appearing? World is appearing in thoughts first. Where is thought appearing? Thought is appearing in consciousness. So world is nothing but consciousness. In that way, one who is able to meditate at the seat of meditation, says that is this sadhaka, Dvaita Bhane Api Advaitam Vastu Bhasate. His attention is only on that Advaita Vastu. This is effortless meditation. We are not striving or struggling to shut down the world. Even if some other thoughts creep in, very quickly he is able to switch attention back to Shuddha Chaitanya. Okay, so this part is Savikalpa Samadhi. Then comes another very beautiful verse. This is from Upadesha Sahasri. This is called as Shabdanuvidya Samadhi. Drishyanuvidya was just shifting attention from thoughts and the world to consciousness. Shabdanuvidya is meditating upon the nature or the greatness of this consciousness. Every word is a meditation pointer. Drishiswarupam gaganopamam param. Drishiswarupam gaganopamam param. Sakrut vibhatam tvajamekamaksharam. Sakrut vibhatam tvajamekamaksharam. Alepakam sarvagatam yadadvayam. Alepakam sarvagatam yadadvayam. Tadeva chaham satatam vimukta om. Tadeva chaham satatam vimuktam om. That last part, om, is said by the student and teacher together. Om means whatever you are saying is true. Means whatever we have studied is true. In rituals, traditional rituals, the hota, the priests who are there, they cannot speak during the ritual. But at the same time, there is one chief priest and there are several others. They have to take permission from the chief priest to do certain actions, do certain rituals. Can we go ahead? So how do they communicate? So they will ask and the priest will say Om. Om means good to go, good to go. So what are the indicators they have understood about themselves? First is Drushi Swarupam. I am not Drishya, I am Drashta. Now this alone, one can meditate for a long time just on this pointer. Whatever Drishya Vastu can be there, whatever I call as this, it is not me, I am Drashta of this Drishya Vastu. Gagana Upamam. Gagana Upamam means I am like space. I am infinite, I am all pervading, not limited to this physical body. The applied part of it is Vyavahara should become very sweet. Just like I am expressing in this physical body, I am expressing in every Sharira. More we reflect upon it, different facets will open up. All of you have heard the bhajan, Maitrim Bhajata. Right? You have heard or not? Online you must have heard, right? Swamiji had written that, Mahaperiyarji, for the United Nations performance. MS Sama had given it. But the words are very beautiful to appreciate how Vedantic thought echoes even at international level. When it comes to relationship between two countries, the line there is Atmavat Pashyatu Paran Api. Paran Api Pashyata means just the way we see ourselves, see others also in the same way. So Atmavat word, you can also take it from Chaitanya standpoint. The same Chaitanya which is appearing here is appearing everywhere. Yuddham Tyajata. Give up this desire to compete with others. Spardham Tyajata. Spardha means competition. Yuddham means desire to get something from others. Tyajata Pareshu Akrama Akramanam means unprovoked aggression. Let go of it. It is applied at both levels. Samashti level also, Vyashti level also. Means what should knowledge do to us is all these things. Letting go of insecurity. Whatever should have come to us, if it comes to somebody else, this person has no regrets. This person is very, very happy. If 5 people are there to do some performance or to sing something, and let us say the organizer says, because of shortage of time, only one person can sing. If somebody has thoroughly done Vedanta Vichara, he gets the same happiness looking at somebody else sing as he would have gotten with himself singing. So Atmavat word that has to translate into some kind of Vyavaharik changes also. Gaganopamam Param. And second line, Sakrut Vibhatam. All other knowledge takes place one by one. One thought comes, another thought comes, third thought comes. But consciousness is ever shining and there is no coming and going in this consciousness. That is called as Sakrut Vibhatam to Ajam. Ajam means unborn. That Ajam I am. Ekam means non-dual. Aksharam, non-modifying. I will never perish. I am unborn and I will never perish in that way. Alepakam means unblemished, taintless. Whenever we see ourselves, if our eye lands on mind, and whatever limitations mind has, we will take it upon ourselves. So this should remind us all shortcomings belong to mind, all good qualities also belong to mind, and that working upon that mind is separate project. This particular phase is only shifting attention to that pure consciousness, which is alepakam. Another word is niranjanam. Niranjanam means that. Sarvagatam, again, similar word, I'm all pervading. Yat advayam. Advayam means non-dual. See, the reason we are going in detail is, if we just repeat the word, it is not going to do much for us. On that word, clarity should have come. What is that word indicating? And which particular viparit bhavana it is trying to remove? They don't have general medicine, right? Every problem will have specific medicine. Like that, every word is having a specific viparit bhavana it is trying to remove. So if I feel consciousness is there and world is there, drashta is there and drushya is there, so then that word advayam should say, drushya is really not independent, drushya is appearing in drashta. Tadeva chaham satatam vimukta om. That alone I am, all these indicators, whatever has been said in the first 3 verses, and I am ever free. The rope is telling the snake, there was never a time I was bound by the snake. I was free to begin with. Erroneously, I started thinking to be bound. Okay. So we saw the Savikalpa Samadhi part. All we have to do is practice it. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.